Well, hello everyone. Here to show you the bug light memories. What you see is not a coloring, but you have right here is the actual light. It is as you see right here is of course this light right here would be about about 22 years old. I think say my parents had bought it. It's like for the family it was and used over there at the old house over there. I say on a say Woodcliff Manor it was, but other than that is that from the house from where I grew up was that I had mentioned in the video about talking about is a light that I wanted the family to have in case if they maybe wondering about. It's like with the light it was that knowing about is that the problems with mosquitoes that a lot of times that sometimes that we would go out the side even on the deck, and then that knowing about that there would be a lot of maybe about maybe a few 100 or so mosquitoes out on a deck it was, and knowing about that I had mentioned to my dad about that dad, because I remember I seen I must have only been about maybe if see here 8 years old, something like that. But anyway, it comes you see right here that it's like it's one of these real old style say bug lights. It is that has only about maybe about a 2-inch cord, something like that, about a 2-inch cord right there. And then of course it's like I have it plugged in, but apparently that what I heard of course that they don't really make them like they used to, that knowing about with this type of this type of a light it is. I would probably say that nowadays that is like what you call is like with the souvenir it is knowing about the type of volts it uses of course, but the electricity, the amount of wattage electricity, if it's amp measured by amps it is. But on the other hand too, that I remember that I mentioned this to my dad to get one of these things for the family it was, and then it was like that from over the years that was able to to receive it. And then of course it's like knowing about that what you cause my mom told me is like that's what your dad got for you. But other than that is you have right here is with the bug light it is, and that knowing about that you put it out on your deck it is, and then that knowing about is that every time a mosquito or any type of fly or whatever would get in there and get zapped it is. But on the other hand too, that knowing about that that this brings back quite a bit of memories, and knowing about ever since the move from the old house it was, is that knowing about is like with the bug light the way it rotates of course is that you get it's like with the cord right there, you got is like the cord to deal with. But on your hand too, that knowing about is is like with the light. And a lot of people probably think about is like whenever you're young that maybe that you would like to maybe have what you call maybe your own swimming pool, maybe something that you would like to have on the swing with you or something like that. But for whatever reason that I was thinking, I'm like mosquitoes must have been since my birthday was in July, it was mosquitoes must have been a big a big pest, like a big concern back in around that time would have been about 1991, something like that. And on the other hand too, that knowing about with me that I know that they would spray, they would have like what you call a truck that would come by our set of visions back those couple of years ago and spray for bugs it is, spray for insects it is. And knowing about that the fact about that these were say I don't know if they were pretty popular, but you'd see quite a few people with them, just like if you would maybe see like what you call maybe a set of Christmas lights, whatever it is, but that you see people with. But on the other hand too, that knowing about is like with this this bug light, it's like what you call is the Stinger lantern it is for high performance, is knowing you hanging up on the say on the post it is like maybe what you would do like on a normal bird feeder it is. But on the other hand too, that it's made for what you call taking care of the pest it is. But if I can remember right, that whenever I first used it, of course, whenever the family first used it, I think it collected about maybe about 3,000 or 4,000 mosquitoes and insects it is, and you can see them all packed into the light. But I guess what you say that bugs would be attracted with the light, especially around here. Don't have a bug light around here like this, but then of course with like what you say parking light, the parking lot light it is that they like to hang around. It's like real bright places it is. But other than that, maybe around the summertime I may look into using this, and then knowing about that yeah it's still works, and then on the other hand too, that knowing about that yeah that that brings back quite a bit of memories, and is knowing about that anything that I mentioned on the tape before was the fact about yeah that that it's like mommy, daddy, I think we should have one of those things. Like, really, you think we should have one of those things? Well, what about your bubble lawnmower? Oh, I've already got one of them. I don't, I really don't need another one. I just want something, that the family can use. But on the other hand, too, that knowing about is like the type of attention, that I would normally say, whenever I'm young, of course, is knowing about that yeah, it's like you catch you on tape for what you think that you would want to say whenever you receive something. If it's a remote control car or anything like that, is knowing about, anything that to be used for the outdoor activities. Anything that more likely that be suggested by the son, more likely, to keep, for say, is for the family memories, for what you call it, is like for, say for bug light memories.